Welcome back to another edition of Italians in Europe, Match Day 5. In this one, yeah, a lot to talk about. Some teams have progressed, some teams have not. Let's get into our top 5 takeaways. But before we do that, if you haven't done so yet, please like, subscribe, and leave comments down below. But let's get right into the video. Takeaway number 5, Napoli. We're going to go with Napoli in Europa League. We'll start off with Europa League. They didn't do themselves any favors by getting a draw in the last matchup against AMRA. A win would have secured them a progression to the knockout rounds. Unfortunately, a draw still puts them at the top of the table, but it forces them in their last matchup against Real Sociedad to get a win to confirm that they finished in first place in the group. But you know they can get through with a draw. Napoli did get the win in the first matchup. So they're very capable of doing that. They'll be at home in this one, so they'll be looking for the win. But I think they'll be content with a draw. Either way, I do see Napoli progressing out of this group. So that's takeaway number 5. Takeaway number 4, we're going to stick with Europa League, and we're going to talk Roma and Milan. Both clubs were in good position in their groups, and both got big wins this past Thursday. Roma won 3-1, Milan won 4-2. Thus locking up the progression to the next round, so they can sit comfortably in match day 6. Now they can rest some of their main starters for Serie A and not play them. Play some of the younger guys, play some of the backups, give them experience. But I think both Roma and Milan are sitting comfortably now, and then they're just going to be waiting to see who they're going to be playing in the knockout stages. But both these clubs can be happy now that they locked up the progression early. Gives them a game in hand. So they're sitting pretty. They're going to wait to see if the rest of the see if Napoli can join them in the Europa League knockout rounds, to be determined. But you got to like the way that both Roma and Milan are playing. Roma really came to play in this one. They took advantage from the beginning, and they really didn't seize control of this game. Looked fairly dominant in this 3-1 victory for them. Milan, on the other hand, they started off a little slow, went down 2-0 against Celtic. They stormed back, led by Jens Peter Hauge. A brilliant goal, brilliant assist. He was man of the match in that one. Roma advances, Milan advances. They're going to wait to see if Napoli can advance too, but Serie A clubs looking very good in Europa League at the moment. Takeaway number 3, we're going to go over to Champions League, and we're going to talk about the reigning champions of Serie A. We're talking about Juventus. They found a way to win 3-0 against Kiev. It's the kind of performance that Juventini had been hoping for the longest time. It's just been hard to come by. It hasn't looked pretty at times. It didn't look pretty in this one at all, but they won 3-0. They found ways to get a victory in this one. They got 3 goals in this one, so they move on to the next round. They finished second in their group. I mean, they have one more game against Barcelona. And technically, if they win that matchup, they can be first place in the group. But I don't think it matters to them at this point, really. And really, sometimes the second seed has found favorable matchups in the next round. So we'll see. I don't think either team's gonna be hard pressed to play their starters in this one. You'll see a lot of backups for both Barcelona and Juventus. It's going to be just a way to rest some players, get some other players some valuable pitch time. But Juventus, they move on. Still not playing quite pretty where they want to, where Pirlo wants to, but they move on very comfortably nonetheless with a big win against Kiev. Takeaway number 2 now. 2 teams who have still a lot to play for. You're talking about Lazio and talking about Atalanta. Both came out with draws in their last matchup. Lazio drew Dortmund 1-1, and Atalanta drew Midtjylland 1-1. So both of them are still in the mix. Both of them are currently in second place in their groups, but there's still a lot to play for. Atalanta has to play against Ajax, and they can win that game. It's doable. If they get away with the draw on that one, they move on. So I think Atalanta are in a good position here. Lazio as well. All they need is a draw against Club Brugge, and they move on to the next round. Both can get through with a draw, and I think that's what they're going to be looking for. They're going to look not to lose. That's the main thing. But anything on top of a draw would be bonus, right? Cherry on top of the cake. So yeah, Lazio again are to continue to play well in Europe. Doesn't matter who the opponent is. Simone Inzaghi is doing a marvelous job, and Atalanta, they're bouncing back after that 5-0 drubbing, embarrassing match against Liverpool, and they've kind of got things back in gear in Champions League. So yeah, look for both these clubs to progress into the knockout rounds. Takeaway number 1, we're going to go to Inter Milan. This club looked down and out, looked like they had no chance of doing anything really in Champions League. But then they found a way to win 3-2 against the group leaders, Mönchengladbach. Win 3-2, a seesaw back and forth game. And Lukaku had a fantastic game in this one. Really dominating as he always does. Very clinical, getting 2 fantastic goals. What does this mean for Inter? They're sitting in last place. They're 5 points. Can they progress out of this group? Sure. They need a lot of help though. They need to win their last game and then hope that things just fall on their way. As much as I want to see this happen, I don't think this is going to happen. I think it's going to be the one team from Serie A that does not progress into the knockout rounds from either Champions League or Europa League. Inter are playing a little too inconsistently at the moment. We saw when they do play well, like they did against Gladbach, they can score goals, they can get some timely saves by Handanovic, but it's been far too inconsistent. You know, with their split focus between Serie A and Champions League, obviously the focus is probably going to be more on Serie A. So we'll see. I don't expect them to get out of the group stages really, and so it's unfortunate for them because this is a team that could be, the way they're built, could go for a long run, but it's going to come short. I know I predicted them to go deep into the Champions League, but I don't think it's going to happen. So unfortunately, there you go. That's our top 5 takeaways from Italians in Europe. Let us know in the comments if you agree with that or do you have other 5 takeaways. Again, if you haven't done so yet, leave comments, subscribe. That'll be much appreciated. And if you aren't following us already on Serie A Sitdown on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, again, this YouTube on YouTube. So thank you again for Matchday 5 recap of Italians in Europe. We'll catch you in Matchday 6 video. Ciao. 1, 2, make it